We're ready.
Okay. She'll tell me who it is.
Well, I'm hoping that Mr. Chapman was going to be here to talk about these high school special ed teacher, this vacancy is, someone just submitted their letter, retirement.
I know who you're talking about. Deb Schaefer.
No,
She's not?
she's out on sick leave right now.
I just saw Deb Schaefer was at the interview.
Did she talk about retirement?
No, but she was there Monday. Wasn't she there?
Mhm.
Deb Schaefer, wasn't
This
she
is the
there?
lady that's out on sick leave in the wheelchair.
Oh, the Castro.
Nick
The
Castro.
Castro, yeah. She's gonna be leaving?
Effective May 1st, retirement.
She's retiring?
Yes,
She's a special ed teacher.
yes.
She's been out sick, hasn't she?
She has been out sick for months, since before Christmas, I think. The high school guidance council, I'm jumping around because there's a couple here that Mr. Chapman was going to be here to explain. High school guidance counselor, that's a position that actually has been vacated by Carol Selby. And right now, Marguerite Ward is just a temporary. If we want to make it permanent, the job has to be posted and she has to apply.
You're making a permanent for her?
No.
Oh.
We're posting it, and then if she's interested in staying, then she could apply for the position. But we would also see if there's any others.
We will post that, just so we're in compliance with the union contract.
Exactly. Special ed teacher consultant, I think this is a position that was held last year and had not been filled. Oh, I think this is somebody who's retiring too.
Yeah, I think that's Deb Schaefer.
Oh, okay.
What is John's title?
John,
Chapman.
Director of
he's the
Special
director of special ed.
Is
So
that
who is it?
position currently special education teacher consultant? Is there somebody in that position right now?
See, I'm thinking when I talked with him and we're trying to get, making sure what's in the Deb and what's not, I thought he said Deb Schaefer was retired, but I'm not sure.
Well, what's her name used to be in there, and then we eliminated that when we were making all those cuts.
Who's that?
Was it Lang, her last name?
Oh, yeah. Deb?
Huh?
Deb too?
It might be, yeah.
I don't know.
Short blonde hair. She was also in charge of the National Honor Society.
Okay.
She wasn't here when I came back, right?
No, I see her here all the time.
I don't know.
And the executive assistant is Pat Byer. She's retired.
Right.
And we hopefully will get somebody in there. But because of all of what Pat does, we probably need at least 2 months of training. If we find somebody that will do that. So we're gonna try to find out if we have someone in-house that might have to go out. So I told Pat I could give her 2 months of training. After that, I don't think we can afford to go beyond 2 months.
Because that's a very difficult,
It is.
time-consuming job, because not only does she have all that, but she has the scholarship commission funds and
We're
everything.
gonna try to bring that back to the finance office.
Huh?
We're gonna try to bring that back to the finance office, and maybe Christie could do it. Because it only is like once a year that she's really,
Well, yeah, but she has money coming in all year long.
and they've been bringing it to the finance office.
Oh, have they?
So I'm thinking that maybe we can
Yeah, they haven't been handling that money anyhow.
Right, no. But finance, scholarship.
Yeah, it's just been going to the finance.
Yeah, but I mean,
office.
it always went to Pat first.
First,
Yeah.
it does.
One of the challenges that we will have, she has a very long list of duties that she fulfills. And it sounds like, unfortunately, there's nobody on staff now that knows everything that she knows, which is a little scary, but Yeah, but Robin, there's probably some things that.
But Robin
Pat-
doesn't do, yeah.
Yeah, that Pat knows that Robin doesn't know or do. So we want to at least identify someone pretty soon, especially if they're in staff, so we can get them
We
trained.
posting it in staff first, or are we posting it period, being it's an executive position?
To be very honest, I'm not sure what past practice has been. I would
Because she's
think,
an executive secretary, she's not in the union.
Right.
I would think that we would post it
We could
in-house
probably,
first.
we could probably post it in-house and then out. I mean, just to give the respect of the union.
Why not post it in-house first?
Yeah, to give them the respect.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that's my point.
And
I
if
think
nobody
If
bothers,
nobody
then we
takes it
go
or
on.
wants it,
That's
then
why
we
we're
go.
trying to do it now.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but I just want to make sure
I
that we
think
have
that's very fair.
Yeah.
have time to get someone trained if there's someone on staff that would like the position.
What we're doing now, we're trying, so, Mrs. Selby knows, we're trying to come up with a couple tests that the person can take to make sure they're qualified for the job. You know, doctors say, can they do some of the things she does?
Well, you know, before, we used to have that test that all aides had to take before we hired them, and I don't think we're using that anymore.
I think that was one of the ones she was talking about trying to do.
Because all aides before had to take,
that test.
because I remember, well, you remember Lynn Richardson,
Mhm.
because Lynn had to go back and get her GED, because she didn't have the endorsement, and then she had to take that test afterwards. And you know as well as I do, she was one of our best aides we ever had.
She was. Did you get a hold of her?
No,
Okay.
no, so the ones that we just don't know about are the,
Teacher consultant and elementary special ed teacher. And I rather he explained, he came to me about the position.
So we'll just leave those alone for now, then I guess if John can't be here.
right.
Unless he called you back.
Yeah, he might call me back and we can go back. Go back to it. So, what is your pleasure on those? Is that
Huh?
do you all have to, is that a recommendation, or will you all be recommending?
Recommending that you post the positions.
Okay.
Item number D is, we've talked about those. These persons that are presently holding these positions have already gotten their letter informing them that it's going to be recommended that their positions as they currently stand will not be renewed. And we had a long discussion about that at the closed session last Monday.
Yes.
Just this past Monday, that was still this week.
Will these positions be next year in Title I?
Yes.
So they'll have to be posted?
Yes, so we will, well, I have to go back and look at Gary Patterson's recommendation in our resolution, because I think one of them apparently was not posted. The grades 2-5, those first two positions were posted. I don't think, according to the BEA contract, we have to repost those. But we may have to post the 6-8 position.
And what about the coordinator?
Yes, if we're going to continue that position,
But we
it
have
would
to
have to
post
be,
it.
there actually is a position very similar to that that's already posted for the high school. I don't know that we will continue this position as it is right now, but this is a district-wide position paid for out of Title II, and we have to look at the budget
Okay.
to see.
When will we know what kind of title funds and, are that we're going to get for next year? Are we gonna get the same, or when do they let us know whether they've cut it, or?
And you know, because I've not gone through a full year of the cycle, I don't know, but May 8th, Regina and I are going to spring regional meeting, and that's when we start talking about next year. Now, I don't know if at that meeting they tell us how much we.
It's usually in July, in August approximately.
Huh?
It'll be sometime in the summer.
Will you get notified, Pete, of the funding?
They'll, well, it'll be through the MEG system, so we'll all
Okay.
get emails, Carol and Regina on that.
And then what'll happen if it gets cut?
I think it increased.
Well, they amended in February, so that's the first estimate, and then they usually amend it upwards. This is a more conservative estimate, that comes out in July or August. So February's the final amended amount.
So we know we will have Title I money, Title I and Title II.
Which one of these positions were gonna be part of the bargaining?
A and
A and
B,
A and
the
B?
interventionist. And if we continue the coordinator of professional learning data assessment district-wide, that will be BEA probably also, unless it's an administrative.
Because that's a
Position.
position that Kevin Ladd had before.
Well, I'm not sure if it was called that. It was called.
He was the data person.
Yeah, it was,
Yes,
and he
but-
was locked, he
but
was
he-
lodged in the high school.
Right, but yeah, he wasn't the professional learning, he was the data person, but he was not the professional learning person, and there is a difference. We actually are trying to get this turned down. We actually have that position posted already. I think that was agreed upon at the last personnel committee meeting for the high school only.
I don't think he had the title of coordinator, did he?
Yeah, because he was supposed to be coordinating the math K through 12. That was one of his jobs he was supposed to have.
I didn't
Okay.
And he did data, he did a lot of data.
But he
Right.
didn't coordinate the math like he was supposed to.
No, and I don't think he was coordinating professional learning. I wasn't here, so I don't know, but he was a data, and I hear that he's a very good numbers cruncher. He's a data person. So we don't know about that position as it is written now.
For one of these positions, isn't it at risk? They're not both in.
Yeah, the grade 6A right now is being paid for out of 31A
Right, which is at risk funding.
at risk. And that's anticipated that will continue at risk.
But she's not doing that currently, is she?
It appears not. That is her title. Item C on your agenda is a recommendation for teacher non-renewal. And you have that information in front of you from, it is a high school teacher. And Mr. McCarthy can outline some of the reasons, the justification for that. I just want to remind you, this teacher, this will be the second year that this teacher has something less than an effective or highly effective. The new state law on teacher tenure, which went into effect 2011, says that a probation, this is a probationary teacher, but a probationary teacher that has, who does not have 3 years in a row of effective or highly effective cannot be renewed or may not be renewed. And so this teacher's in her 3rd year of non-probationary, as a probationary teacher. And so there's no way for her to get 3 years in a row now of effective or highly effective because she had 2 years of, well, last year was ineffective. And last year she was the lowest graded teacher on the teacher evaluation scale. For whatever reason, the board chose to renew her contract, even though she was ineffective.
See, these are never brought to us.
They're brought to you now, Mark.
I know, but I said, these were never brought. This is the first time I've seen them.
We just got it. The teacher's been evaluated like all the other teachers throughout the year. Her evaluation was complete yesterday. This was presented to her today. We're still within the guidelines of the law.
I used to come in 1 day a week, or a whole day, and go over all the evaluations, because that's the only way I got to see them, is if I come in and look at them.
So it's recommended that this teacher not be renewed, and I'm not sure what went into the decision to renew her last year based upon, even though she was the lowest rated teacher in the district. But I just want to caution you, we're a district now with 2 priority schools, not just 1, but 2. And so we should be in the forefront of our thinking in terms of the future for our district. We should really be thinking about the effectiveness of our teachers. And it is counterproductive to bring back an ineffective teacher when we know that we are working very hard to make sure that all of our teachers are not only effective but highly effective. And this bringing back an ineffective teacher could have a negative effect on our.
Is this the only one we're gonna get?
Yes. Yes. That's what I was told.
Okay.
The only one. And the fact that this is the 2nd year in a row, to me, that's a red flag that, okay, this teacher really has some issues and probably should not be renewed. And it's unfortunate, but, you know, there's laws, there are state laws governing this, and we don't want to be out of compliance in doing it. Yes, this is the last, this is the only one for
Okay.
this year.
Well, this is the 2nd request for non-renewal for her
Yes,
from 2 different administrators.
absolutely.
It's not the same administrator.
That's a good point. That's
Last administration
it was a different administrator.
was administrator recommended, and that's not Ms. McCarthy.
Absolutely.
I can support that non-renewal.
I just don't, and I don't know if we have to bring it up. We eliminated a chemistry teacher. Do we have to post that or just reinstate the chemistry position?
Well,
We
that's,
eliminated a chemistry.
well, we didn't,
We did. this is John Chapman. We didn't eliminate it, but it was eliminated. We really do need to.
Was she a chemistry teacher?
no,
No,
that's not, it's not connected.
It's not, when I met with the
Are you
administrative
here today?
staff, they told me we didn't have a chemistry teacher in the high school, and I asked them why. Out of the cuts, we
Okay,
cut
can I put
chemistry.
you on speaker?
Well, what does Stafford teach then?
Okay, hold on.
What is Stafford teaching?
Stafford is teaching
Physical
physics.
science, and maybe, well, somebody's teaching physical science, just one section of chemistry.
Somehow we are short a chemistry teacher. It wasn't, we're short a chemistry teacher, and that needs to be, and they're still in the budget. Chemistry teacher is still in the budget for now.
Okay.
So for next year, we need to post that position.
Yeah, I think we do. I don't want to get in trouble. I'd rather post them all than not. So is it okay to add chemistry teacher here? I just thought about
We
it.
should.
Is it budgeted?
When you said something about.
Yes,
renewing
yes,
this
because they're still in
plan.
the budget. They're still in the budget. I
Well,
have,
even if they're not, they gotta be.
We have to have a
because
chemistry teacher.
chemistry is a requirement.
Chemistry teacher.
Right, because I believe it's state mandated. You
I
have
would
to-
almost
Yeah,
bet.
Yes.
I would think it would be.
Okay.
I have, John, can you hear me? Okay, I have,
That teacher consultant position is not ready to be there yet, that's later down.
Can't understand.
Oh, he said it's later down the road.
later down the road.
So eliminate teacher consultant.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll take that off the table right now. What elementary special ed teacher?
Yeah, the elementary early childhood special ed is the position we talked about yesterday, bringing us back from the ISD.
Oh, right.
Bringing those 7 kids?
In classrooms up to 15 kids right now, just the ones that are coming in that belong to us anyway, so we already have to run another session. So that works out pretty good to have the teacher come in.
And what he's talking about is we have, some autistic, 7 students who are autistic, and actually they're being serviced at the, John, where are they at
At the
Millet?
ISD.
At Millet. At Millet, and we're paying, right, ASD, I'm sorry, ASD. And we can bring the services back to us cheaper.
What I asked him was, were we required? He said yes.
Yes, we do, it's required that we service
We
those
service
students.
those 7 students.
And we don't want to leave those students hanging out there.
7 of them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there additional funds anywhere? We have to
Well, you know, we're paying for them anyway.
we are?
Yes, we're paying for them. Yeah, we're paying for them anyway at the ISD, but if we leave them, the ISD is increasing their service fee, their fee to us, correct, John?
Oh, it's probably his bill.
John?
I must be trying to follow the speaker in the room.
No, he's actually referring to baseball.
Oh,
Okay, I was just clarifying for the committee members that we're paying for the service now anyway, but next year ISD is increasing their fee, their service fee to us, and so we're gonna pay, I think about $70,000 more than we did this year. We're paying for it anyway, so it'll be cheaper for us to bring those children back to us. John? I'm gonna,
Is that out of Everett?
I'm gonna.
no, it's already, it's in the budget in general
Okay,
fund,
then.
and it says transfer ISD services. So it's already in the budget now.
Okay, just
Pay the
shift it around a
ISD.
little bit.
Right, now
Oh,
we'll hire a
okay.
teacher. Right.
Okay,
I don't know how he's doing. He's refereeing the game.
Umpire. Should be great.
He must be on the base, he can't be behind the plate.
No, let's hope he's not.
I wouldn't want to be back.
yes.
I wouldn't either.
I got you. Okay, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
That's dedication.
Something I
Larry.
didn't
Short
know.
into that stick for sure.
He said we were gonna end up having to bring a teacher in anyway, because he just found out, yesterday, which he didn't share with me till just now, that we're gonna be getting 6 additional ASD students out of Sue Santhony's room. Sue Santhony is special ed teacher over at Thomas White, and she has 2 half-day sessions with kids, and so she's got a group of kids, sounds like 6 of them, that will be full-time next year, and these are ASD students. And so we would need another teacher doing what Sue Santhony is doing.
Now, some of Sue Santhony's funding is to flow through to the ISD. So we do get some monies for her. Yes.
And so we're taking off the table for right now the special ed teacher consultant position, but we're adding the chemistry teacher. And what's happening now, there's someone doing 1 section of chemistry, but we need someone to do chemistry full-time because that is a requirement for a lot of our kids if they're moving on to post-secondary education.
So that gives us 4?
High school special ed teacher, elementary special ed teacher, guidance counselor, executive
Executive
assistant,
assistant.
it's 5,
And chemistry.
and
5.
chemistry, yes.
And we're doing some at-risk funding to the high school guidance.
For the grant.
We are using at-risk money for that.
We're doing that now and planning to do it next year. So are we recommending to the total board for the teacher renewal,
Yeah, that's what we said.
and the 5 positions for the anticipated vacancy? So then the last thing, last but not least, is the superintendent's contract, acting superintendent's contract, excuse me. In your packet, there is a draft that Attorney Ann Vanderlun submitted. And it's in 3 different colors because the black is what she drafted. The red items are items that my attorney has suggested that we remove. And the items in green are is the wording that is suggested to be added. I know there was a concern by at least one board member that we're setting it up to have 2 superintendents. That's absolutely not the case. My attorney added, and it's a very important wording, if you look in paragraph number 1, where it says the district hereby employs the acting superintendent, and the acting superintendent hereby accepts employment as the acting superintendent of schools for a term commencing December 8th, 2014, and this is in addition, ending upon the return of the current superintendent, which is Mr. Hill, or upon the appointment of a successor superintendent. And then except this agreement may be terminated by either party upon reasonable notice or 90 days. And this 90 days was taken from, and Attorney Selby is here, from wording that is in the Michigan School Code. And this terminology about ending upon the return of the current superintendent or upon appointment of a successor is in the draft contract a couple of times, or at least 2 or 3 times.
Why was there a need to put the first sentence in number 1 under term?
I absolutely don't know. And it was removed because I'm already employed by the district. And if
You've already had a background check.
I've already had a background check, and if you do a background check now and find something that's not appropriate, shame on you. I mean, it's just not necessary. Yeah, those items, again, those items in red are those that we're suggesting to be deleted. Go through and have any other questions. I want to highlight number 5, compensation. Also in your packet is a breakdown that our CFO, Steve Vasili, used to kind of determine what my stipend would be.
Yeah, this was done, Clark Hill actually came up with the amount of $1,000 per week that was in, and she discussed with me how approximately she came up with it, so I put it down, the calculation in terms of how it is arrived at, and there you go.
I think she came up with the additional, there's not a whole lot of difference, 920 per week is what Ms. Priscilla came up with. Ann came up with 1,000. She asked
You gotta leave that
for,
open. You have to leave it open, so the meeting, you have to leave the door open.
Students are just beating their head against it.
she asked me about how many hours a day I do this and how many hours I do that. And actually, we have here 4 hours a day acting superintendent. I told her I do probably a minimum of 5 or more, because my days are very long. My days are at least 12 hours a day, starting at about 5:30 when I sit and start checking my emails, and ending at about 2:30 or 11 when I'm again checking my emails or responding to emails. So it makes for a very long day. So I think she increased it to the $1,000 a week, plus it's around the number, I guess, based upon, I told her it was actually about Yeah, 13 hours a day total, 5 hours a day for the acting superintendent. Mr. Selby, is there any other questions and any other thing we need to highlight in item in paragraph number 5?
I don't have that.
Oh. Well, you did. We're on number 5. While you're looking at that, we went back to, if you just go back to number 4, the part that's crossed out or in red, that was just too much wording because, and I just added board, in accordance with board policy 1320. So it's not necessary to reiterate. You all do have to say.
Now, the $1,000 per week is over and above your title money, correct?
Correct.
You're still you're getting the 88,000.
We're getting funded, we get reimbursed.
Not 88.
84.
It's 84.
84?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, she came in after July 1st, so she's about 76 for 1450, but it's all reimbursed from Title I program.
So all total, that's $100,000.
Yes, when you add both together, yes.
And in the past, we've only had a part-time Title I director.
Well, this year you have a full-time one. Next year, you might end up having a part-time, I don't know, but this year you have a full-time. And you have a full-time acting superintendent. I didn't hire me, Mr. Hill hired.
It only paid benefits on one person too, that's.
Oh, yes, but
versus
you might
having
pay
two
in
people.
double benefits, and I'm not asking for he has a nicer benefit package than I do, because he's got a new.
There's a board paid annuity and
Yeah.
educational achievement.
Yeah.
So your master's contribution is going to be based on a higher rate, so
Yeah.
hers is simply based on much lower.
Not that I don't need that, but I'm not requesting that, not as the acting superintendent. No. Under paragraph number 6, the only change, well, the pro rata was a term that just wasn't needed. And coordinator, that's a misnomer, it's Title I director, not coordinator. That's what the contract says. Number 7 was no changes recommended. As for number 8, Title I director again versus coordinator. Number 9, it is recommendations of my attorney that be deleted altogether, especially since we could not figure out, nor with Ms. Vanderlaan define what is a conflict of interest. I would think that as an employee of the district, it would be in my best interest not to have conflict of interest. And we don't even, it's not even defined what that is. Anyway. Number 10, no changes. Number 11, it's the same, some of the same language as in the first paragraph, the 90 days or reasonable notice, written notice, versus 24 hours. And it's contemplated this agreement will terminate in green upon the return of the current superintendent or the appointment of a successor superintendent on June 2015 is to be removed. Paragraph 12, no problem. Paragraph 13, no problem. Paragraph 14, again, Title I director versus coordinator. And it is mutually agreed, this is addition, between the parties that it should become necessary if the terms and conditions of the contract may be renegotiated. For example, if for whatever reason Mr. Hill does not return, then that's a discussion that we'll probably have to have. And there it is. There are all the changes that we recommend. Attorney Selby, do you have any additional comments?
None other than I'm aware of a communication that has been circulated by Mr. Wang concerning doing anything that gives the appearance of the board making a decision concerning Mr. Hill's status pre-investigation. This language does not do that, especially those parts where it says contemplates the return of Mr. Hill or the appointment of a successor. That's both situations, therefore it is neutral as to creating any appearance that the board has made a preconditioned decision about Mr. Hill prior to the completion of the investigation, which I'm aware is being done by Ms. Vanderland. So that concern, I believe, has been met. The issue of the notice provision, I'm a little confused, though I hate to acknowledge I'm confused, but I'm unable to find anything in the non-renewal act that either requires a June 30th date or anything in the proposed employment agreement that is in contravention to that provision of the school code. In fact, Ms. Vanderland has actually stated that the board, I'm quoting, the board may consider a longer notice provision if it prefers. I think that that's the correct interpretation of what the board can do contractually with anyone who serves as superintendent. So I'm not clear on why she insists, subsequent to that statement, that there must be a 24-hour notice provision in the proposed contract.
I don't think I put in your packet the revised school code. And I know Attorney Selby reviewed it this morning, and so did I. And do you have this?
It's section 1229.
Section 1229. And I know it makes no reference to, I know there was a concern, do you have this? Okay, there was a concern about automatic, I think Attorney Vanderlaan stated that if we don't renew, don't terminate by June 30th, that the board must renew the contract automatically because according to Section 1229 of the Michigan School Code. Michigan School Code makes absolutely no reference to acting superintendent. Michigan School Code references superintendent, assistant superintendent, principals, guidance directors and other administrators who do not assume tenure in that position. That would not be this position. And so what I'm doing as an acting superintendent would not fall under that automatic renewal. But that being said, as Attorney Selby said, and I said at the board meeting on Monday, we do not want to put ourselves in a position where Mr. Hill has not returned and the disposition of his status is not determined by June 30th. And because, according to her contract, I would be non-renewed, it would end on June 30th, and then what happens to the district beginning July 1st? And until Mr. Hill's status is determined, finalized, we can't bring another superintendent in. You have an acting superintendent. This acting superintendent is more than willing to remain in this position until the board decides otherwise.
But we
And it
also
sounds
had
like
a
it's the will of
recommendation.
it's also the will of the staff.
We also have a recommendation that we got from our attorney not accepting the changes.
Well, the attorney, Vanderline, also says that the board can decide what to do and how to do.
It seems to me that in our session on Monday, the attorney was not prepared. The attorney came with so many different variables to this scenario, I got confused. Attorney Selby, I was confused as well.
Well, I'm not about to approve something that our attorney doesn't agree with. We have enough problems, we don't need more.
Here's one of the issues, Ms. Sageman, that you're gonna have if you don't approve something. Right now, you have an acting superintendent that has been working for several months in this position and not being compensated. That is a problem. And it's gonna become a bigger problem if the board doesn't decide. The acting superintendent really does not know why, at this point, she is not being compensated. In fact, I remember the first time it came up at a personnel committee meeting, I thought that it was a no-brainer. And you said, I can't do that, I can't agree to that. I also know, and I won't call any names, but you told at least one administrator on staff that you would not agree to compensate me. You would not agree to compensate me, the acting superintendent. And I will tell you right now, you're gonna have a bigger problem on your hands if you don't make a decision about
I have no problem compensating you, but I have a problem changing the contract without our attorney being here to advise us.
we can get her on the phone. Is that the will of the,
Yeah, because
Do we have to pay her?
yes, you
Yes,
do.
we will.
Yes, you will.
I'm in receipt of her email, and
Mhm.
I agree. I have no problem compensating you.
Mhm.
But when she sends me an email and she is recommending to not approve this, you know, I have a tough time. I can't go against what the attorney is telling me to do.
I know two issues she had with what was submitted, our draft, was the amount, although this amount was her amount, it wasn't our amount. Mr. Vasili came up with 920 a week, she came up with $1,000, that was her amount.
Well, what I have here is her issues is, the language that was added requiring reasonable notice or 90 days notice of termination be included in the proposed acting superintendent employment agreement. The agreement I drafted contained the language necessary to protect the board legally. The language I included in paragraph 14 permitted the parties to negotiate a new agreement, where she doesn't have anything in here that she's concerned about money, that she's telling us to negotiate the amount. That's her concern, is that paragraph, I believe it's 14. That's where her concern is paragraph 14.
Well,
No,
paragraph
no money.
14, we don't have a problem. I mean, you know, we can keep her language.
The only change in 14 is the removal of the word coordinator.
Right.
And then
Her
the
language
language
is
at the
still in
bottom
there.
about it may be renegotiated. And didn't she say in that letter?
It said the language I included in paragraph 14 permitted the parties to negotiate an agreement.
And what I added.
Well, maybe it doesn't contradict itself.
Oh, no, it just clarifies. It just clarifies. And the 90 days, she says that by law is required, and I sent you a copy through email today. The law does not require that.
I guess my question is, has nothing really to do with Carol, has to do with the position. So I'm gonna be professional, and I think we all need to focus on where we are with this district. So come June 30th, if it ended, can you three tell me what we're gonna do July 1? Because I'm gonna have to tell the state something. So my concern is, what difference does it make if it's 24 hours, if it's 90 days, if it's 30 days? It says upon the return of Mr. Hill or a successor. So I'm missing something here, because I think I can understand legal terms. So I don't know why the 24 hours is even in there. I've never even heard of that in a contract unless we're talking about some kind of construction or something, 24 hours something started. But I guess I need to have a response. This has nothing to do with Carol, it has to do with the position. And the board, where do we stand in 2 months?
I have no trouble with the contract that the attorney drew up, and you were the one that contacted the attorney and asked the attorney to draw this up.
No, I did not contact.
You told me you were going to.
No, I contacted Mr.
Urban.
Urban, and I didn't get anything from him, neither did I get a phone call back.
Like I said, I have no trouble with the contract, because that's what our attorney is advising.
And I asked for a contract simple as a stipend. I had no clue how we got into all this. I just asked for something to say that Carol Selby will be compensated as superintendent. That's all the state wanted. I have no idea what all this.
Yeah, this contract is
I
really
don't
more
know.
detailed,
Why are we paying all this money for this? I just,
and it's not necessary. All that needs to be agreed upon is a stipend for me
that's the
to
only thing I asked
perform
for.
my duties that I have been performing as acting superintendent, and to continue to do so till Mr. Hill returns, or another superintendent is brought in. I'm going to be very honest with you. I think one of the reasons that we have gone here, and Melissa said it's not about Carol, I think it is about Carol. I think it is. And
No,
Carol,
not about Carol in terms of the
What I'm-
contract portion, yes.
yeah, what I'm doing, since I have not heard otherwise, I have no doubt that what I'm doing, what I've been performing for this district is satisfactory, and hopefully more than satisfactory. Because as the teachers and parents and other staff members stated, I have brought this district out of chaos. I'm not saying that it's perfect, far from it, but I have settled a lot of the chaos that we started with at the beginning of this year. Now, what I think is happening right now, this is so different from the contract that Mr. Hill was brought in on, that it makes me wonder, is it race? Is it my sex? Racism, sexism? Why would, and I'm sorry, Ms. Adrian, that you have to call it, I have to call it the way it looks. More than one occasion, it has looked like racism and perhaps sexism to me. Why am I being subject? I am running this district. I am running this district, which is amazing considering the amount of abuse that I have been subjected to by not all the board. Trust me, I have the utmost respect for most of the board members, but I have been abused through crazy emails by at least a couple of board members, continuously. And I'm running the district. I have not stolen any money from the district. I have not fired anybody. I have not, on my own, ran up exorbitant legal fees. Yes, we do have some exorbitant legal fees, but that's because I'm cleaning up the mess that was created by our current superintendent. So to be treated like this, and I can't approve this, you haven't even compensated me for what I have done so far. And you're trying to imply
Carol,
that you won't.
this is coming from an email from the attorney.
I got it, I got it, I got it.
It's
It's
not,
not us.
I got
it's
it.
not a personal knock
And you
on
run this district,
At all.
not this attorney.
We do run the district,
You do.
exactly, but
And she wrote out most of this contract. And it's pretty typical in contract negotiation that one party submits a contract, the other party tweaks it. They go back and forth. That's what was done with that Merck situation. I can't tell you how much, and who knows how much all that cost, but they went back and forth on the language till they got it right. But you know what? We don't have a whole lot of time now. We don't have any time to go back and forth, because Carol has been doing this job since December 8th, and I've been disrespected by not being compensated for doing this job. And it's got to end right now.
I've been discriminated against all my life, too.
Marty, this is not about you. This is not about you.
I know what it feels
It's
like.
not
to have
about you.
people treat you like that.
And if you do know what it feels like to be treated like that, then you should understand.
What I don't understand is why you cannot accept this contract with this
And I
guy.
told you, how many different ways do I have to tell you?
I'm not gonna go against my attorney.
Then you have a problem. You have a bigger problem with what you know.
Well, I want to go on record to say that in the meeting on Monday night, and I know we were in closed session, but I was appalled at the unpreparedness of the attorney, number one. Number two, at some of the attorney's behavior. And then when I look at the log of the legal fees, is this what we're paying for? What about the kids and what about education? I'm sitting here and I'm ready to support what it is you have coming, Carol.
Nobody's disputing that she's got money coming.
Oh, yes, you most certainly do. How many times have you told members of the administration, I'm not paying her?
I never
well,
told
we
her.
are compensating you, so we
We have talked
don't
about
we
it.
don't need to keep going
When?
back.
You're
to that.
arguing about it
We're going
now.
to, you will be
Because you don't want
compensated.
to agree to the contract.
You will be compensated. We don't need to keep going back
We don't
to
even
that.
need
We're gonna
this
compensate you.
detailed contract. We need a stipend. The state needs to know that you're paying me a
Right, maybe we
stipend.
need to scrap this all.
Yeah, I have no idea why the board entered
And
into,
there you go, a stipend.
because that's
And that gets
exactly.
away from all the
That's what it
contracts.
was supposed to be in the
Just
first
Well,
place.
I
Well, that's
contacted
what I
Joe
thought it was
Urban and
supposed to be.
asked that a stipend, which is a
Exactly.
one-pager, be written up to compensate Carol. That's all we
I
wanted
have
to
no problem with
satisfy Title
that.
I.
Get away from this contract and go with a stipend.
Can we agree to that tonight?
Can we do that?
A stipend?
Let's dump this contract and let's move forward.
A stipend in the amount
Is that
specified
satisfactory?
be put in place, retroactive to the first date in the position.
Yeah.
Through your tenure.
You have
in
a
that
stipend
position.
contract for me. I didn't even know why we couldn't have just used that for an amount.
I did not know this was going
I did
to
not.
this. I
And
had no
Marty,
clue.
I did not. When
I
I
didn't know this
contacted
was
Joe
going to a
Urban,
contract.
that's all I asked for.
Well, I know you said you were gonna contact him about a contract, so.
And you contacted him for a stipend, one pager saying,
I
We
can
couldn't
live
do
with
it up
that.
with
I
what
can
we
live
have
with
on
that. We
file.
can move
Yeah.
forward, and we can get things done.
So we have to have a recommendation on
Exactly.
Friday to the board, the committee of the whole. Is it a, I mean, not Friday, well, the
so,
27th, whatever,
Monday.
the 20.
Monday the 27th.
Yeah. So, yeah, Monday the 27th. So is it,
Is that satisfactory to you, Mr. Selby, Attorney Selby? Scrap this
if you determine the stipend amount,
and just, like Melissa said, a simple one-page stipend.
is
We
yours
don't
one
need
page?
mine says
contracts.
one page.
Right.
The board has signed.
We don't need all that.
And I think that the stipend amount, written in the contract that we are destroying is appropriate.
Okay.
And that's what we ought to go with.
What are you requesting for a stipend amount?
The 1,000.
I can support that,
A week?
yes. I have no problem with that.
So I will have my attorney draw, and this is for free, one-page
Stipend.
stipend agreement. And it's pretty much gonna say the amount
Exactly.
and the term. Because again, we do not want to be left without a superintendent if Mr. Hill does not return.
That's the one question that we get asked most about from MDE is, the assumption is Carol's coming back for 15, 16. We're already in 15, 16. It's too late to go through a process and bring in a third party. So we need to be clear, we need to get some settlement there. And not,
MDE
No,
wants
we're not changing
stability
anything.
yes,
on our end.
but we've already started 15, it's like bringing a football coach in during training camp. You can't do that. And we're already in 15, 16. So I want to be clear that we need some settlement there so to come back next month and have a debate on who's going to be superintendent in 15, 16. I just want to make it clear, I didn't know.
There should be nothing about 15 and 16, all that should be
Well, no, we
is a
have to,
one-page
no,
stipend.
no, we have to
That
have
says what
15,
we're gonna
16.
give.
This
Well,
draft agreement doesn't say 15, 16.
That's, now, if Tom comes back, that's a different story.
That's a
He's
whole
the
different
super-
story.
It's either gonna be Tom or Carol, that's the bottom line. I mean, we're not saying you're gonna have two contracts for
No,
15, 16.
can't do
It's either
it.
gonna be Tom or Carol.
And this
But-
draft agreement does not say 15, 16.
Right.
You know how critical this is?
Yeah, because I
On
won't be able
Monday
to
morning, the
support that.
ISD is having a meeting to decide what to do about the Bridgeport situation. Is that what you want?
Well, you know what? I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the state come in and take over because
Well,
of
that's
all
what we
this
don't wanna
stuff.
have to know.
No,
That's
we
why
don't.
they need to see either Tom coming back or Carol in 15, 16. You bring in a third party or have a process, that's gonna blow everything out of the water. I'm just so you're aware of that, and that's the assumption. So, and the question 16, 17, we can talk about that later. If you're gonna start the process for that, probably start it late in 2015 to get for 16, 17, because you have to go through it 6 months to a year, as you probably know, to have to surge. But just so you know from MDE, because we want to make this district work, we don't want to be, BV and be taken over. And we're doing, I can tell you from my experiences, we got the best group of administrators I've ever worked with, and Carol's doing an outstanding job as superintendent. So I think we're going to be on the right track as long as we stay on the same team here.
I
And
just
that's
want
what
a
I
one-page
answer
paper that says
your
we're going to give you
question.
so much for.
You had a question. To answer your question,
Yes, sir.
my first concern is that something has to be in existence to satisfy the Department of Education. Because you have two priority schools.
I agree.
And the issue is the Title I grant and having to reimburse
We don't want to have
if
to
something
reimburse.
is not taken care of.
We can't
Something
afford to
will have to
reimburse.
come into existence. It's not merely just pay the stipend. Something has to come into existence.
We have to
Now, if your
satisfy
comfort
that.
level rises in getting either Mr. Urban back involved, because he actually is the partner, okay? That may be a suggestion, or someone else.
But you want to pay for that.
But
So then why don't we have
it's,
Joe write up the one-page stipend thing for her to send?
And I'm suggesting Ms. Sageman, that Attorney Selby, who is a licensed attorney in the state of Michigan, will draw up, and then we can share it with Joe Urban.
He
But
can
he'll
draw it
it
up
up.
because
It'll be
he's
a
gonna
heck of a
draw
lot
it up
cheaper
for free.
for him to draw
We
it
can-
up
we
for
can-
free.
we
I
can
know,
look at
but
it.
we might be charging conflict of interest too.
Half of what she's holding up is saying she'll agree with, is my work anyway, so.
I'm perfectly content with you writing up the stipend for our review. I have no problem with that.
Can we put our hands on your stipend tonight? We'll take it home this weekend.
Yeah, I can probably pull it out on the file.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
you.
We'll have something
spend
Monday
me
morning,
Sounds good.
so it'll be ready for our committee of
Our review, okay. Are we adjourned?